Welcome back. Here to preview Saturday's Premier League cash team, Manchester United and Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. But only starting with the home side, they'll be looking to bounce back from the derby defeat to Manchester City.
Yeah, always disappointing to lose in a derby match, isn't it? They played fairly well. They put the pressure on despite having 10 men for more than half of that game against the Manchester City side, who many people expected to win fairly comfortably, I think. So there are encouraging signs from that performance and from the draw against Chelsea the game before that, as 1 point from 2 games against 2 teams expected to finish in the top 2 of the season, which, bearing in mind United's recent troubles, is not too bad. 2 decent performances as well. The issue I'd have with United is, at this stage last season under Moyes was getting so much stick, and they were better off then in every respect than they are now. They had more points, more goals, and Van Gaal spent almost £150 million more in the transfer market. So that is an issue. Of course, there has been injury worries, and there are problems defensively, especially going into this game, because obviously Smalling got sent off against City, and then Rojo got injured, so that could be an issue going into the game.
Oh, it's a massive issue, isn't it? Defensively, probably the injuries hit the hardest of any team. It's where you build from, like you say, Rojo, Smalling, Jones, Evans, all out. Raphael potentially out as well, which means you're looking at a back four of Valencia, McNair, Carrick and Shaw. And to be fair to Shaw, he's been good the last couple of games. He got a bit of stick. But Valencia right back, not sure. McNair's done okay. Carrick's not a centre back. That's 2 midfielders, probably who wouldn't get in Van Gaal's first choice midfield, playing at the back. And that's a bit of a worry. Especially going into, to be fair though, I mean, the City game, we're speaking about it, the back four that finished that game did okay. And I think you mentioned Moyes. I think the thing with, you look at the performances from last season, there's such a big change. We went to City last season, got absolutely hammered. It was the game at the weekend, it was 1-0, we put pressure on late on. Could well got a point out of that game. There's obviously worries over points tally at this stage of the season. It's not good enough, but it's to going into this game, obviously the team selection is the main thing. Falcao will hopefully be back as well. Come into that team, Van Persie struggled a little bit. Rooney obviously played against City back as well, another game under his belt. So encouraging signs.
Yeah, I think Palace will come into the match thinking they may have a chance because of such a makeshift back four. They did do well against City considering how makeshift it was, but Palace, they've been all right in front of goal under Neil Warnock so far, much better than they were under Pulis. They come into it off the back of a really disappointing defeat against Sunderland. They were at home to a club who had lost 8-0 and 2-0 in their 2 matches before that, to lose 3-1. And they played fairly well in spells. They put Sunderland under pressure at the start of both halves, but they just didn't test Pantilimon enough in the Sunderland goal, and that was their biggest issue. They had no cutting edge in the final third. Plus, Mile Jedinak got sent off late on, and he's been their best player this season, so that's going to be a big loss, I think.
Oh, big loss, certainly. Say, I think he's played every game for them, hasn't he, since they got in the Premier League? Started every game anyway, which he's been their best player, like you say. They've only got 9 points at this stage of the season. For me, that's a worry. I mean, last season under Pulis, it was just his performance that was so good that it elevated sort of the fans what they wanted to do this season. But I mean, the level of the relegation zone. So if they lose this game, which I think they will, and they play Liverpool next, I mean, you lose those 2 games and you're probably in the bottom 3 because you expect at least one of the teams below to win. Certainly not Burnley, but play teams below them, and it's just going to be a struggle. I mean, if they can finish 17th for me, it'd be a great season, because you look at their squad and they've got quality, but is there enough depth in there? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, there's a problem with the final ball, really. I think that was the main problem against Sunderland. Zaha and Balassi, they went on some good runs. They tested the defence a bit, but their final ball was just off. They need to improve that. As I say, they've scored a few goals, but defensively they're nowhere near as sound as they were under Pulis. It's a different sort of setup to the team, I think, now.
So were you backing for this game? You expect them to get anything out of it, Palace? Or?
I can't really see that. I see a United victory. They've sort of scraped victories against, I think it was West Ham and Everton recently at home, 2-1. I think it's going to be the same scoreline.
2-1. I'm going to go for United win as well. I'm going to go 2-0. Hopefully Falcao getting back on the score sheet as well. So both going for Manchester United wins. Thanks for joining us.